Guys, welcome back to the Nets, the home of unbiased views. We have been through quite a week this time. I know all Indian fans frustrated yet again. Never the bride, always the bridesmaid with Virat Kohli. With me is Rohan. Rohan has been a pretty regular content editor. He has gone missing for a while, but he is back again today to share his views. Before we go anywhere, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is a channel where we talk about cricket and cricket that happens all around the world. So, Rohan, welcome back. Good to have you back again.
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm so happy to be back. And in fact, I actually, called Keyur across the globe. I told him, like, we have to talk about this because I've been like, even I was hit by the second wave here in India and, been missing. But yeah, this WTC was like a strange sort of match, Keyur. It was like such a roller coaster. I mean, once it starts, stops, and still we get a result. I mean, an amazing match, to be honest. Everything was there. There was rainfall. There was, start, stop. It's the worst kind of match and the best match you can expect in a finale.
So, the way I see it is the
Yeah,
better team won for sure. The better team, which was suited for those conditions, won for sure,
yeah,
and it wouldn't have happened to any other captain or any other person than Kane Williamson. It would have been unfair. But that being said, this was something that did not come as a surprise to somebody who's been watching or following Indian cricket for long. And I can back those with
yeah,
statistics that we
yeah,
always go in with 11 tailenders, 11 night
yeah,
watchmen for me.
yeah. So,
So
I mean, uh,
look at the score of Ajinkya
that's
Rahane.
such a can you please repeat it because it's such a mind-boggling statement.
Oh, I
We
mean,
go
I
into
am telling you, we go with 11 night watchmen anytime we go in an overseas cricket where the ball is moving. Okay.
yes, yeah,
The hope you can get is from these guys who actually don't plan to just stay there. Somebody like
yeah,
Rishabh Pant, somebody like Jadeja, or somebody like Ashwin. You
yeah,
know that they will give you those 20, 30 runs.
right, right,
Besides that, you can never bank on Virat Kohli. You can never bank on Rohit Sharma. And yes, these are big names, huge names in Indian
yeah,
cricket, and you will never be able to have a talent like that again. But
okay.
if you ask yourself this question honestly, you will keep your hands on your heart and say that no, I will not count on them to give me 100 when I need it the most.
Wow, you are pissed off. You are seriously pissed off because I was like, see, I know what you're feeling, and watching the match. I mean, I did have little expectations, but it's not the same team that played in Australia, right? It's not the same team. It's actually called India, but it's not the same team. So it will be unfair to compare the two teams, right? I mean, the entire setup was changed, you know. So I think that would be unfair. But you're right that we are kind of the one thing we are lacking is that tail ender stuff, man. I mean, we can't get the tail enders out first of all, and secondly, we are not scoring anything. Was it 5 wickets for 35? Or was it 25?
You can take it back another step and say 7 wickets for 69. So
Okay, 7 wickets for 69. So it's pathetic, right? I mean, it's
it
pathetic.
is
It's not
pathetic.
expected, right? It was. I mean,
Even if you look at 7 wickets for 39, forget about 7 wickets for 39.
yeah.
10 wickets for 219 is pathetic. 10
Oh
wickets for
yeah.
219 is pathetic in any part of the world. And I completely understand that we have all these glorified names,
Yeah.
starting from Rohit Sharma. Again, I like him as a limited overs player, but I have never thought that he was a test player overseas. Given on top of
Right.
that, you gave him the role to open an innings.
Right.
Even in Australia, I said the same thing that Rohit Sharma is way too casual
Okay.
when it comes to throwing his wickets away. He likes to
Yeah.
go for his shots, and sometimes you have to have that player who has the ability to just wind down, stay there, take a moment, and
Right.
then play. Or
Right.
if you're being a Virendra Sehwag, then be a Virendra Sehwag all around. This
But
stopgap
Kevin,
is
don't
not
you
going to
think
give
so?
you more than
Sorry,
30.
sorry to cut in. Sorry to cut in. But don't you think so that uh, we have only struggled in places where there is seam and swing. Wherever there is bounce, we can deal with it. Kind of. Matlab, because even if you look at, the openers, they were dealing with bounce very well. mostly. But whenever it is swinging a little bit, look at Rohit Sharma, how he left the ball alone and got LBW, right? He didn't know his off stump, right? He didn't know it, know where it was. So that's something which is, I mean, it's the first match. You have a lot of excuses that you can give because we have an entire tour left and we have time to acclimatize also. We can give loads of excuses, of course, and many were given in the press conference. If you heard it. Yes.
Okay. First of all, the approach from the captain. You can't go in and say that it's just another test match. No, it is not just another test match.
Oh,
The psyche
yes.
and the mindset has to be there that this is a final and I have to bring my A game.
Yes.
And
True.
just another test match gives you just another batting average. It's not really something. Kohli's batting average in finals is not really as extravagant as it is on any other day.
Right.
Given that our middle order is so fragile, look at Ajinkya
Right.
Rahane. Ajinkya Rahane has a record of being performing his best in second test match of any series
Yes.
when it comes to
Yes.
overseas. His
True.
test
True.
match in the first, third, fourth, and fifth is abysmal. It is pathetic as somebody who's going to be that number five, who's pretty much his role is to see the second new ball.
Right.
Ajinkya Rahane has not been able to do that. Yes, he has had his moments as a captain, and he has that brilliant record of never losing a test match as a captain. That means
Yeah.
nothing when you cannot perform as when you cannot get that 100 in a final when you're needed the most. The shot that which he got out to, trying to pull a halfway pull and trying to just jab it and got caught at square leg,
Yeah. Yeah.
that itself should be a sackable offense, if you
That,
ask me.
that was a total setup, man. I could see it like from far away. It is going to happen, you know. The previous ball, it almost happened, right? Almost
Yes,
happened. And you know, there is so much to talk about, but let's talk about, you know, because selection, man, selection. I mean, I was expecting that they will play Shardul Thakur. I was expecting that
I
they could
was
have.
actually, I don't know if you had seen my video with Mohsin sir before this, before the World Test series.
I
I
missed
told
it.
him
I
Bumrah
haven't
has
been
to be
that
set.
well, so I missed it.
I told him I very well made that evident that Bumrah has to sit out. Bumrah is not going to be of any help because if you look at Bumrah's
Really, you
record
said
since
that?
the stress fracture, he has been
Yeah.
useless as a test bowler. He's
Wow.
brilliant in short gaps, in one day and limited overs editions. T20 is a brilliant bowler. One day
True,
he's
true,
again a
true,
wicket
true,
taker.
true.
Test matches, he's not the same bowler again. I
Yeah.
said the same thing and I was told that no, doesn't seem right. You have to include Bumrah because he's your primary weapon. Primary weapon was absolutely negated and he
Wow.
could not take
That's
a single wicket.
Ayur, I think so. They should watch your videos. I think your videos should be played in the team meetings because dropping Bumrah is something. I mean, it's some would say it would be harakiri, and Mohsin said it. I mean, of course, that you have to play him. He's your main weapon. But you're so right. Our main weapon perhaps was Shami or Ishant. I mean, out of the two, both in fact, I think they were the two weapons. But Jadeja didn't do anything in the entire match. I mean, he didn't get an opportunity actually. What happened
Jadeja
there?
did not get a chance. And
He didn't
again,
get a
for
chance
me,
to play.
I will never target for Jadeja just because he brings a sense of energy to the team. Our fielding is lackluster. You can see Jadeja
True,
trying to always be that
true.
person who spurs that
Yes,
on, and you always need one of those guys. I think Jadeja batting that in that place is not really justified for what he can offer. And again,
right.
Jadeja is not a player you ask to stay on the field. You give
Obviously.
Jadeja the license to just go for it, no matter what. He's not the kind of player who can play with he's no
Right.
VVS Lakshman who can actually play with the tail and
Yeah.
get the best out of them. Our tail
Okay, let's talk
managed
about.
to
Okay,
give,
let's talk about. I haven't watched your previous video, but what would be your team in retrospect?
for me, I would have included Siraj for sure.
Okay.
If I was given a chance, I would have definitely sat out Ajinkya Rahane just because of the history that I have with him and his first test match and included KL Rahul. With KL
Okay.
Rahul, I get a player who's a little bit more solid with technique, and KL Rahul can actually take the attack to the opposition if need be. Plus, KL
Okay.
Rahul is a much better batsman if he has to play with the tail. That would have been my opening. I personally, as much as I love Rohit Sharma, and if you look at my Twitter handle, which is down there, you will see that my actual line is Rohit Sharma, the Lord Commander, the protector of seven realms when it comes to Mumbai Indians. When
Right.
it comes to internationals and finals and test matches, I do not rate him as much.
Right.
He's a good
So
batsman
my point is that you
in
have.
India.
Sorry to cut in. I My point is that I think so. We practically, kind of gave up because Hardik Pandya wasn't going to play, right? And it started way back. He's injured, and Kohli has said that if we were to include like four seamers, one of them has to be an all-rounder. So that mean that we only have one person whom we depend on, and he knows that they depend on him. So what are we looking at? Further, because we can't win any tournament that ways.
That is the case. We just have one all-rounder in Hardik Pandya, or either it can be said this way that we have one Hardik Pandya and the level, there is such a big void between the first and the second one. We don't even know who the second one is at this time.
Right.
Vijay Shankar has been not that good. He has been
Yeah.
mediocre. And then the other thing you can think about is Shivam Dubey, who has again
Right.
just been a plant your foot and try to hoik the ball. I do not see
I
him
mean,
as a
he
test
has.
batsman.
Yeah. That's about it. No, but what about Shardul? He has done so well. They can develop him. He can be developed into somebody. He could be a great. I have that feeling. He can do well.
I, I
But
have
why didn't
absolutely
they play him
advocated for
right now?
Shardul
Why didn't they play him right now? They should have played him. He was
that
batting also in the nets. He was
and
showing off.
see the one thing that a player like Shardul Thakur or a player like uh, even Prithvi Shaw. I know Prithvi Shaw is not currently in the plans, but a thing with a player like Shardul Thakur, what they do in that dynamic is if they have to throw the bat, they go for it. And with that,
Yeah,
you actually see that the field spreads out. So
true.
those close nicks and edges, you don't have a catching fielder there because the other team is put on defensive mode. We do
Right,
not have anybody else or nobody else in that team even thought about taking that approach. You, on the other hand, they had Colin de Grandhomme specifically for that reason that if they need
yeah,
a quick fire 30-40, you have Colin de Grandhomme who is not going to just go for runs. He will also make sure that the other side is protected because now Kane Williamson also has a field that's spread out.
right.
We don't
Their
have
outfit,
anybody of that.
yeah, their outfit is much more balanced. I mean, if you look at it, they have somebody like Watling, who played his last Test match, by the way, and he's going to retire, and he has done great service to the New Zealand team. Let's talk about New Zealand also a little bit because they are a great team right now because they almost won the World Cup. I mean, they were cheated of it. I would say, some would say, but
I would say they
with
didn't
New Zealand.
lose the World Cup. Sorry to cut you. I didn't.
Oh
I
yes,
would
of
say
course.
they didn't lose the World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. Technically. So what happened was that see, we dropped Hanuma Vihari, right? And I feel that is not fair on him at all because the last match he played, he limped and saved you the Test match, and you are now dropping him. He has been there and stayed there in England for how many months now? 3 4 months, more than that, maybe more. And they dropped him straight away. Why? I disagree with the KL Rahul approach. I don't like him at all for Test matches. I think your specialist was Hanuma Vihari. You have stuck with him for so long. Why do you have to break people's confidence like that? Why isn't a Rahane or a Kohli or somebody else why doesn't he get dropped in the next Test match? Why not?
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I would for the with that exact same reasoning, I would even say that Washington Sundar did nothing wrong to be
He
dropped.
didn't. He didn't. He didn't actually.
And
I mean,
Washington
that
Sundar,
was a yeah,
with Washington Sundar, you got a bowler who is delivering a ball from a height. So I'm not saying
yes,
he's going to get you miracles. All I'm saying is a bowler of his caliber is going to give you that extra bounce or a breather. And in spite of that, it's not just a breather,
yeah.
it's a different approach, a higher angle, a different angle to work with. And he may give you a wicket here and there. You
Right.
never know. But
I didn't.
for
I
sure,
didn't
he's going to
understand the
give you
selection.
runs.
I didn't understand the selection. To be honest, I would even if they won this game. Trust me, I didn't understand the selection. They would have won it. And do you want to take a break and
No,
end it
no,
here?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Light चली गई थी ना? और now
नहीं
we are back. Okay. थोड़ा सा edit मारना पड़ेगा जरूर.
Winning. We can continue. All good.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
yeah, with
I don't
again,
I don't agree with the selection because anyways, even if India were they were holding that huge mace, it was like a huge mace, right? At the end, I mean, I saw the Kane Williamson holding it, and even if they were holding it, I don't agree with the team. To be honest, I don't like it at all. When you start, making these kinds of adjustments where you don't have people for the right slots, then you are in trouble in these conditions. I mean, you can get away with it in Ahmedabad for sure, but not in Southampton and Lords.
I do agree with you. I do agree with you. I mean, we brought in Akshar Patel in India.
Yeah.
We glorified him out of bounds. Akshar Patel will
Where is
not
he?
give you a single wicket in
Where
England.
is he? By the way, where is he?
He is in the squad for the 5 test matches that we will be playing in England. But
I thought he was.
I will not be surprised if he doesn't give you anything there.
I thought he
I
was
will not be
partying in
surprised.
the Caribbean or something.
No, he is again one of those guys that you will he will excel in Indian conditions,
Yeah. True. True.
but
True.
he will
True.
be pretty mediocre in England. No surprises there.
Everybody knows that, but I mean, we can talk about this. But would you have played the Indian team that played in Australia in Southampton rather than the current team that played that final?
Same team that Australia played against us, if that was playing us
Yes.
in Southampton, I am pretty sure we had been wrapped up in 180 because Josh Hazelwood would have been
Oh,
unplayable on this condition.
oh yes.
And it's not just that. You also have to take into factor that Warner, Smith, Labuschagne have their tails up when the ball is moving and they know that the opposition is under. They will
Yeah,
throw their bat at everything. We do not have a bowler who can consistently hit the lines. If you look at them, we keep saying that the ball was moving, ball was moving. It was not moving that much. It was just moving a little bit. They bowled
yeah,
a lot smarter than we did. For
yeah.
Bumrah, the ball was not moving at all. We saw like in the whole test match, you probably might have seen like 10 or 12 good balls from Bumrah. That is
That's
not
about
what you expect from your premier bowler who is getting the new ball. The other thing I would say is Ishant has a fixed line and length, and more often than not, the opposition has a plan against him where, well, you know what, you
right.
can just leave the ball. He's going to give you 1 or 2 wickets, which is fair enough. I
Yeah,
would not say
yeah,
that I take Ishant off because Ishant also can surprise you. But Bumrah
yeah.
was definitely not someone who I would have gone with. I would have taken Siraj just because of the way Siraj was performing throughout the IPLs. And if that was the criteria for selection, Siraj was the one
But they couldn't have
for me.
done it because that is based on logic, right? That is based
True.
on logic because if you look at experience, if you compare the two, there's not a lot of difference in experience in test matches if you look at it, because he's Bumrah has not played many test matches. It's just a perception. He has not played many test matches. He doesn't know what is the right length for those matches, right? For different pitches. He's great at ODIs and because he's experienced, of course. But you are right. I mean, if the team was selected on basis of logic and pure pedigree, then Hanuma Vihari would be there. Siraj would be there for sure. Maybe a Shardul Thakur would have made it, but I am not so sure about. I mean, we played badly, and this is nothing new, right? I mean, we have not performed well. We lost in South Africa, if you remember. 2-1 was it?
One.
And then we lost in New Zealand 2-0.
Yes.
England we lost 4-1 or 4-0, is it?
4-1.
4-1, right?
3-1. 3-1.
3-1.
4 test matches, 3-1.
And all conditions are similar, right? I mean, almost all conditions are similar. Australia is quite different. I mean, Australia the ball bounces and stuff, and it's we have struggled. I mean, it's not bad to struggle in those conditions, but we have to fight because we believe that we are the best. We have the best infrastructure in
Absolutely.
this entire world. We have so much money, so we have to do well abroad. It's
So
that's
the problem with Indian cricket is the same as British football, England football. We glorify
okay.
our players beyond beliefs. For me, if you ask me genuinely, we only have one genuine wicket taking bowler who is fit enough to bowl in any conditions around the world, and that is Mohammad Shami. To a
True.
certain extent, I would put Ashwin in the same category because he bowls smart. He can buy his wicket, he can outfox the batsman and get them out. But besides that, all these other bowlers that we have, I will never rate Ishant Sharma as a good bowler in England or New Zealand. He may be decent in South Africa. He will be good in Australia, but he will
Yeah.
not be good in England. And coming for the next 5 test matches that we have with England, I will
Yeah.
not be surprised if Siraj establishes himself as a genuine test
Possible.
bowler, and Ishant may make way for Umesh Yadav as a rotation policy. But for me,
Possible.
Bumrah has to be rested. I would not even say rested. Bumrah has to be dropped from test
Yeah.
matches. Keep him as a
Yeah.
limited over bowlers. Try
Yeah.
to sell him as whatever way you want, that we are saving him for one days and the T20 World Cup, which
Yeah.
again, I feel that if Kohli is the captain, it's going to be dicey.
See, I mean, you are completely right, but who will drop Bumrah? I mean, that's the question because it doesn't work like that in the Indian team. It doesn't happen. Hard calls are not taken. If that call was taken, there would be a completely different captain right now. There would be. We would
Absolutely.
have a new captain. But with this team, whatever we have got, because I have lost hope in that belief, so I have to move ahead in life. So I think with this team, I don't think so that decision will happen, although it would be a great decision, but also it will it will lengthen his career. He can play
It
for
will end in
longer.
his career. Mhm.
Why
He's
not do this?
27.
Yeah.
He's 27. He's not looking at his career at this time, but I think that he will earn a lot more laurels for India if he's just
Yeah.
limited to, uh, just have him on the
Yeah.
bench if you want and play him one test match. But he's definitely not somebody who will outthink the batsman for 5 test matches straight. They will find a plan
Right.
to play him. And
Right.
again, one of the biggest flaws that we have and we have not developed in a long, long, long time is a left arm bowler. I think the last one we had was a Zahir Khan and Ashish Nehra, who were genuine wicket takers. After that, we have Khalil, we have Sakaria right now in the pipeline. But
No one.
I don't think
There's no one.
anyone is genuinely a test match wicket taker.
But see, I sometimes, poor Kohli, he brings in people, he brings in the right people. Khalil is the right man, but somehow the leadership qualities or whatever you blame it on, the entire scenario has not fitted well for Kohli. I'm feeling bad for him actually because you drew everything, but it is not working out. But do
I
they know
personally
that
don't
it's
feel
not
bad
working
for
out?
him. I personally don't feel bad for him, and the reason for that is he pretty much runs the show. Let's be honest there. He pretty much runs the show when it comes to team selections. He brings the players in, he shows confidence, which is good. That is what you want from a captain.
Yeah.
But to a certain extent, I will blame the Indian team selectors for this because even look at the team that was sent to Sri Lanka. Let's say it's not India, it's the Indian team that is sent to Sri Lanka. If you look at them, you have Shikhar Dhawan, who's been given the captain's armband. Shikhar Dhawan is 35. Do you
Right.
really see Shikhar Dhawan leading India in the long run? I do not.
That was a strange call. That was a strange call. Strange call. Really
Right?
strange call.
You have Prithvi Shaw, who had a brilliant domestic season, outstanding domestic season. He took Mumbai unbeaten to
Yeah.
the trophy,
Yeah.
scored immense amount, mountains of runs. You did not give him the captain's armband.
Yeah.
Then there was, you have Surya Kumar Yadav, who's also promising. He's 30. I
There's so
wouldn't give
many.
him the captain's
There's so
armband of
many.
anything.
Yeah. If you remember Graham Smith was appointed the captain ahead of everyone else, and he did so well. So it's like that. They don't want to. They are making everybody happy. Like it happens at especially in South Asia, the culture is such you make everybody happy. It's fine. So don't make the tough calls. Let's talk about New Zealand. You are ignoring New Zealand totally. We
I
have to
mean,
talk about.
they have found a gem in Jamieson. Brilliant
Oh
bowler,
wow.
brilliant batsman, outsmarts batsman. He was not somebody who, I mean, he's using his height really well. Can't take that
Yeah,
away from him. He's
yeah,
using his height, but even when the ball wasn't swinging, he was able to outsmart the batsman just by changing his length. We did not
yeah,
have anybody like him in our squad. Boult
yeah,
and Southee are brilliant bowlers. They are, they did what was expected of them. Any frontline team will have these kind of bowlers who will do it for you? They will give you 2 or 3 wickets on the worst of tracks. Southee, just by using the crease, going wide, coming back in, he set Rohit Sharma up, four out swingers and then one in swinger, and Rohit Sharma got out.
yeah,
I mean, yes, the pitch was tailor made for them, but in spite of that,
yeah.
having that pitch for you and making use of it and showing that you can use it to your advantage is different.
It's a neutral venue at the end of the day. I mean, let's look. Let's be fair. I mean, it's a neutral venue. It, of course, it was swinging. The ball was swinging, and I totally forget the name of the bowler, and he bowled so well. The bowler who was on the bench, not Wagner. The bowler who was on the bench,
Henry, Matt
Matt
Henry.
Henry. Oh, I love him, man. He was not even playing. He would have created havoc for India if he was there. I
Absolutely.
tell you, he would have been more dangerous than Wagner.
Wagner, I have tons and tons of respect for a man who is 35, who has proven himself in the New Zealand domestic setup, who has come in, who played against Pakistan with broken toes and still delivered. So it was just amazing. I mean, I love this New Zealand outfit. I would not, if I
Let's call
had to
him the
pick up a team,
Renaissance man. Let's call him the Renaissance man.
absolutely. And this unit itself, kudos to them. They were deserving winners. They were
Oh,
deserving
I mean,
winners.
Conway has been in such great form. Goodness gracious. I mean, he blew away England and they are losing in test matches in cricket also. Okay, so now,
So
now everything is, back to zero. Now they're back to what they do best.
I actually watched the England versus New Zealand test matches as a prep for this one.
Yeah.
Conway is extremely strong on the offside,
That flick.
but he's also vulnerable on the offside, and we never used that to our advantage.
Yeah.
We tried
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
tuck him when we were first playing him, but we didn't even have fielders on the left leg side to actually,
And he
if
flicks
he
it.
has a
He
missed
flicks
shot.
it. Remember, he played like a billion flicks and got the 100, and everything was over square leg. And actually, New Zealand did it very well. They placed like four fielders on the boundary there and got him once on the boundary. I mean, they kept on feeding him on the leg side and they got him on the boundary. Did we do that? I don't think so.
We did not outsmart the batsman. Not a single bouncer bowled in the threatening area, not a single
Yeah,
bouncer. So Shami was the first one in the first innings. If you look at it, Shami was the only one who actually threatened, who was not given the new ball.
yeah.
So for me, that was a captaincy error by I mean Kohli again. Right from the selection, if you have Bumrah,
I
you have to give him the new ball.
You trust me, I was jumping out of my seat, not because of joy. I was shouting, please place six fielders around the bat. What are you doing? There are only 50 runs to go, man. Did you watch that part of the match? They are not
Uh,
placing any attacking fielders. What the hell is happening?
Also, look at it. Attacking fielder in Kohli's defense, I would say, even with attacking fielders, you just don't have the bowlers to do anything out of it. You just
But
don't
Ashwin
have
was
the
bowling
bowlers.
well, man. Ashwin was bowling well. Ashwin was doing well.
Ashwin was the only one who was doing well. So
Yeah,
again, if you go back to my last video, I had also said that, and I had tweeted about it, that more than
yeah,
Williamson, I feel that Ross Taylor is the one who's going to make a difference. And it's just
oh,
because of the way he plays.
yeah,
His batting versus the Indian bowler's psyche is was so much wider. If Ross Taylor actually throws his bat around,
yeah.
he manages to get runs. Even if somebody like Ross Taylor stays there for 40 balls, he's going to give you 30. If he
True.
stays there for 60 balls, he's going to give you 45 odd because he
Yeah,
doesn't like to stay there. The
yeah,
way we have played over the past few days is, if there is a period where there's somebody is going over 4 runs and over, if Kohli is not the captain, we still have aggressive fields. If Kohli is the captain, we spread them out. This was the
why?
case in Australia as well. In
But
Australia,
why?
if you remember, Labuschagne and there was that period where their second wicket keeper, what was his name? I do not remember. But once he, not Tim
Yeah,
Payne, but the other one, when he started throwing his bat, Rahane was still keeping the fielders in field and he managed to get him out. Ashwin got
yeah,
him out.
yeah,
Kohli manages to spread the wicket. And with that in mind, I had also made it a point that Ross Taylor will be the threat. And he did that. If you look at it, Kane Williamson was in a shell in the second inning. Ross Taylor came in and started hitting those boundaries, field
yeah.
spread out, and Williamson started nicking ones and twos. So again, it was one of those things where it
I mean,
was
you
a
can
set template, and someone sitting out, somebody as novice as me could point that out. But for some reason, Kohli and Shastri, our big think tank, couldn't really get there.
see, we all are experts in India. You can ask us in the middle of the night that what should be the field placing in a particular match anywhere in the world. We'll tell you that in a cricket match. By the way, we don't know football, so that will always happen. But we are fans and we are disappointed, and because we have seen an attacking form of captaincy with Rahane in Australia, we were wishing for more of that in this Test match. Go for the kill, and even at the end, there was no. I didn't see it. I mean, to be honest, I kind of am pretty disappointed. I don't know if I'll watch the next Test match. I'm not so sure. Let's see what happens. But
Next
yeah,
test match, I won't be surprised if again Rahane scores a big one because it's the second test match. Rahane will score decent runs,
okay,
and then he will fizzle out over the period of other five. What we have done with this losing this test match is we have let England know, or we have showed England what they will
yeah,
have to do in terms of preparing the pitches, and
ji,
they know the limitations of our bowlers, and they also know
yeah,
that we will be so rigid with our team selection that we will have to
yeah,
play Ashwin just because of
yeah,
the name, we will have to play Jadeja just because of the name that he carries,
yes,
and we will play
yes,
Bumrah. And
and they
everybody
have
in
time.
India knows that these four bowlers, once you get
To,
6 wickets, you pretty much have got everybody. And in a swinging
right.
condition, if the ball is moving a little bit, you have 11 night watchmen. I don't really rate Kohli when the ball is moving. At least he hasn't proved himself in moving conditions yet. So I would love to
I
be
just
proven
hope
wrong.
Keyur, I just hope Keyur, you are wrong and we win 4-1. But look, I mean, I'm very happy for New Zealand because it's kind of they haven't got their share of kind of luck, you can say, or I don't know what is it, but what goes around comes around, and they have won a championship now, and it's very good for international cricket that such a team wins the WTC, because when such teams win, the underdog gets hope that we can win it. So I'm very happy about that, because India's victory would have been a given. Like, we are at the top and we win. Kind of not ICC,
And
but we win in general. But with New Zealand,
so
I'm happy.
we say we are on top. Once you watch Indian cricket for long, you know the if you know the architecture behind it, or if you know the plumbing behind it, somewhere deep down you know that it's a house of cards. So let's just
Come on, David.
not call
We'll win
ourselves number
the
one.
T20 World Cup. We'll win the T20 World Cup. Be positive. Be super positive. We'll win it.
I like being positive and I also like being realist. And I I mean T20 World Cup, considering it's in India, I would say that yes, we might win it. But again, if we are playing Chahal,
Yeah.
that World Cup is gone. He's going to fail you when it matters the most. And his
Wouldn't it?
average. So we can talk about that show completely, that World Cup when that
Of
scenario
course.
happens.
Of course.
Based on his
Yeah.
current form, I wouldn't even put him in the top 16. But knowing Virat
Goodness,
Kohli,
you are on a rampage today.
knowing Virat Kohli, that may not change. Again, moving on to another big game happening today, Peshawar Zalmi and Multaz Sultans fighting out. I know you don't follow PSL as much, but one player to watch out
No,
for, Mohammad Rizwan.
actually, we in India have been told that don't watch Pakistan cricket. So I don't watch it. I'm
Well,
just kidding. I'm just
Multaz Sultans and Mohammad Rizwan, brilliant talent. I
okay.
think he's the real deal in Pakistan. He's not really as classy as Babar Azam is,
Yeah.
but when he scores, they win. So he's one of those guys that he scores or he performs when the chips are down. Tons of respect
Yeah.
for him. The bigger thing
Yeah.
with this game for me is this again, considering Pakistan cricket and the kind of politics they have,
Yeah.
I don't really think that this is going to be the benchmark of what is going to be the final 11 for the World
Yeah.
Cup that is following next. And even now at this stage, judging by everything that has happened, You will see
yeah.
familiar faces like Wahabrias. You will see familiar faces like Shoaib Malik being in the squad again, because in that squad,
Is he not 60 years old?
he is close to 60. He is getting social security benefits from the government, but he's still there. So, yeah, he will be a part of that squad, just because, if you somehow cater to the Hawks,
Yeah.
Inzamam and Misbah, you manage to get in the
So,
team. One of the
so with
shameful parts that I
Pakistan
would say
cricket,
about Pakistan
here,
cricket.
here, just one thing. Pakistan cricket, it is like the weather of Southampton, right?
Absolutely.
During this season, you don't know which team will play in which tournament, so don't predict anything.
That is the surprising part of Pakistan, right? You have teams that come in and start performing like Pakistan. I would say that, judging by the structure that they have with the T20 cricket, this is a team that you have to watch out for. If you look at it, they just have to win one
That's
match
true.
to actually be there.
Yeah,
They are playing with two teams that are below par, and then they have to beat either South Africa, which is not impossible in Indian conditions, and Pakistan is a different team altogether when they are in knockout stages. They
yeah,
start playing better, they pull up their game. So, yes, I would not count them out. What will hold them back is their selection policy. So, for some reason, Pakistan team was selected for the England tour
right.
without a domestic season. That itself tells you the kind of loopholes that there are in the system. And right now, if you look at the frustration of all the people in Pakistan, it is that all the people who are consistently performing in the PSL have not really been called because the team selection was already made. So
Yeah,
these
yeah, true.
performers mean nothing, and they have to wait for another domestic season to actually come in and show that they are worth it.
Yeah. I think so. You should do a 5 episode series on PSL and Pakistan cricket because it will take that much time, to
It sure will.
understand it. Because they I mean it's ridiculous. They have these changes happening all the time, and I try to follow it, but even their people can't follow it. Pakistanis can't follow it. What's happening? So it would be very tough for me to follow it. But I think Pakistan not playing the T20 World Cup, and it's a possibility. I don't know where the World Cup will happen. I mean, you never know. You never know. But
Uh,
uh,
I will
they
tell you,
haven't
it will happen
finalized
in
it, right?
India. It will happen in
Possibly,
India because
possibly.
it's political decisions happen in the back end, and
Yeah.
tons of money involved, and it's believed that a World Cup can change your financial or your country's
Yes.
economics by 3 or
Yes.
5%. So the World Cup will
Yes.
happen in India. I am not surprised at all. They will do everything possible to make it happen in India. IPL will
But it
happen
will be
in
very tough.
UAE.
But it will be very tough because this visa situation. Although I know there are talks about Pakistan getting a visa to play here. I know that will happen because it's allowed for ICC events, if I am not wrong. So other than that, they are not allowed to play like bilateral stuff. But I think Pakistan not playing around the globe has affected world cricket, the level of world cricket. That's the problem I feel that's happening right now.
That I completely, totally agree with you that it will be a problem. Pakistan, I mean, anytime a country that has a history of playing cricket and have been world beaters have suddenly dropped down. Look at West Indies. Look at
Yeah.
Pakistan. South Africa will be following that path as well because
Yes.
of the selection criteria, the players striking. Sri Lanka
Yeah.
cricket is also in serious jeopardy. Players refuse to play because of the pace. So,
Yeah.
yeah, cricket overall, having the big three has not really helped cricket in any means. And I know
Yes.
that
Yes.
being an Indian, I have to show a face and say that yes, big three is what matters, and big three, we are one of big
I
three.
don't think
It's
so.
not
I
going to
mean,
help world cricket.
we have to. You have soccer all around you. You are a huge soccer fan. I mean, look at soccer, and we. I mean, we have been totally unsuccessful in creating good teams around the globe, and the teams which was successful and playing really well have gone down because of various reasons. Like Zimbabwe was a good cricket team, and it's nowhere right now. It's nowhere. So it's let's keep this topic for another podcast though. But yeah, uh,
You
getting
are
back.
absolutely correct. I mean, did you know by any means that today was a game between Bulgaria and Serbia, a T20 game, and a player named Arvind De Silva scored 100 there
Yeah,
for Bulgaria. So again, it cricket has to spread for
yeah, it has to
for
spread, but I don't know how will that happen. I mean, it looks quite bleak, to be honest, the entire scenario, because we are just happy in one or two countries, or say England, Australia, and India dominating it. So I don't know if that's a good thing for the game. But yeah, I mean, most of the world just enjoys winning. So
And on that note, I would say that, you used a really funny word, England, India, and Australia dominating, and New Zealand won the World Test Championship. So,
oh goodness, I forgot.
it, money doesn't really do
I'm a
anything.
black cap.
It's
I'm a black cap. I'm a black cap man.
I admire that team. I mean, a country with 30 million people bring you
Wow.
players of that caliber, and they fight it out, and that just shows the kind of backing that these guys have. I'm super impressed with it. I mean, if you look at our structure, we have 28 domestic teams
Yeah.
fighting the Ranji Trophy. Of those
Yeah.
teams, we have technically we should be having 28 times 2, which is 56 openers to select from.
Right.
We
Right.
don't. In Test cricket, do you know if we have 56 select openers to select from? No, because as
Yeah.
much as IPL is bringing up the infrastructure, is it actually being spread out? Are we having the conditions where the ball moves? Are we preparing
Right.
for that? I don't think so.
But I mean, with nobody. To be honest, I mean, they say it. I mean, it's. I'm being slightly negative right now. They say the captain says that he's very serious about Test cricket, right? But come T20, most of the players they always show up for T20 and the IPL. They don't show up for the Ranji matches. And how many Ranji matches has Kohli played in the last 10 years?
Not much, not many. I mean, this is the problem with Indian cricket. We have players who take their places for granted. Do you think anybody has the chops to take off Rohit Sharma from opener's position in all facets of the game? No. He's
Yeah.
34. He's not going to give you more than a year and a half. Let's face it. Let's be
Trust me.
honest.
Can you trust me? Whenever Sachin used to go back from international cricket, he made it a point to make himself, if you remember, available for semi-finals and finals of Ranji Trophy.
Yes,
At least, at least. And that was
yes.
his, and you can, I mean, fact check it. I mean, I can remember it exactly, but you can fact check it. And he has played many like that.
I absolutely agree with you. And if you also notice, when Prithvi Shaw had that horrible time in Australia, he came back home. He
Yeah,
went to Sachin. Sachin recommended a slight change in his stance. He went back to the domestic team and scored tons of runs. He also went
yeah,
back to the IPL, scored tons of runs against quality
yeah,
bowlers. So, yeah,
yeah,
there is a reason why domestic structure is considered as a benchmark. And
right.
if you are not scoring a century for 60 odd innings in all facets of the games, it's about time you go back to, you take a break. You don't take a mental break because you have too much cricket. Take a break,
Yeah,
go back to domestic cricket, and get back your runs again where you are not in that mode where you score runs, you are happy.
yeah.
So yeah, I understand Kohli's stress on mental stress and fatigue and wanting to get away from cricket. But yeah, if you want to successfully do that, start scoring runs, and I think you will be in a better place mentally. I think I would
It
be
is
more
just a
depressed if
vicious,
I was Kohli
it is a
with the
vicious
kind of
circle
innings
over
he has
that.
been scoring.
It is a vicious circle in which he is, just, revolving. And it's because, there is so much of cricket happening. I mean, not right now. Before that, there's so much of cricket. We don't need. I mean, why did we? I mean, of course, we need to complete the IPL. But does anybody care for it right now? I don't know if we care for it anymore. It's
It's
gone.
the business owners that care for it more. And
That's about it.
it's IPL. I mean, I did a video on IPL and how the money gets distributed through IPL. The biggest thing is I'm pretty sure even the international players care for IPL, and international cricket boards care for IPL, because
True.
if a player gets 10 lakhs, 3 lakhs go to the board. So
Yeah.
the player is 10 lakh, but it's 13 lakhs actually behind the scenes. So
True.
yeah, the
I mean,
other
ask
teams want
Pujara.
IPL.
Ask Pujara. He would be.
Yeah,
I
and
think we should
Pujara
in the
and
future. In the future, if we, God willing, if we can get Pujara on the podcast, we'll ask him this question
absolutely.
about
Even Hanuma
IPL. What
Vihari
is
has
the
not been selected for a test match, for a T20 IPL team. But oh well.
yes?
On that note,
I
I think we uh, went a little bit overboard in criticizing the Indian team. And being an Arsenal fan, I always say that if you cannot be with us when we lose, don't be with us when we win. So yeah, we will have to still back wear my Indian team colors when India is
What a
playing England.
saying! What a saying, Kayur! What a saying! Great.
So
You're right.
no, it
Agreed.
was something that I heard from Arsenal fans, and I think somebody from Arsenal must have come up with that because we have lost the track of winning in the recent years. But on that note, guys, if you have come this far, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tell us how we did, uh, good, bad, ugly. Leave a feedback. Let us know how we are doing, and you'll probably see a lot more of Rohan and me coming again and sharing these thoughts in the near future. Uh, Final words, Rohan.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm now happy because I have said everything I wanted to say, and I have 5 hours of content more, which I will send you via Google Drive. So
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for having
Thank you.
me. Yeah.
I will remember that. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon, and stay healthy and stay safe wherever you guys are. We will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.